Hello and welcome to another episode of our Speakeasy podcast. As always, I am John.
I am Ken.
And we have...
Jay back again.
Again.
What are you doing here?
He just popped up.
He just popped up. Actually, Jay was in the area, and we said, dude, you want to film another episode? And he's like, sure.
I was working in the area, and
yeah.
thank you for asking me again. I thought after the last one you'd kick me off.
Yeah.
Well, after
thought
the
about
first
it.
one, but we
Yeah.
felt bad.
No, thank you.
How was the drive, bro?
Where do we get started?
Yeah, he was saying before that it was a little hectic driving today.
You know, just this our area. Once you leave the tri-state area in northern New Jersey, the traffic just opens up. He has a house up in Catskills.
Does
You
it
can
really,
drive.
though?
It right up there.
When was the
you
last
don't-
time you've been to Florida? When was the last time you've been to Virginia? Washington, D.C.? It don't
Yeah,
stop,
every
bro.
major city, I guess, but
Yeah. Anywhere, yes, where the population is much more.
There's just certain things that piss me off more. I try to put on a podcast, listen to it, and ignore it. But I'm coming here, and there's a guy on his bicycle, and he's acting like he's a car. First of all,
Yeah, I hate that.
it pisses me off when these people have these tight clothes on, and they're like acting like they're in the
Spandex.
Tour de France. Like, dude, move out of my way. But anyway, like,
You just got to drive by him really close.
I felt a little bit bad because I see this guy. I'm like, what the hell is this freaking jerk off doing? And he's riding a bike. He has like a 4-year-old on the back. So I'm like, all right, it's cool. He has his kid out there. So I'm like trying to back off a little bit.
Maybe he's delivering food.
He was doing proper signals. Like he made a left and he's putting his arm up and stuff. I'm like, just move over. Like it's fine that you want to bike around like they do in Europe and stuff. But like I'm going 45. Like
You should have went right up to his tire.
it just annoys me. And the traffic's been like out of control. Like I don't know, how was
It's that
your
time
commute?
of year, man. No, same way. Even going to work in the mornings during the summer, there's nobody on the road.
Yeah,
And as soon as
terrible.
school starts, it's
I know.
insanity.
Yeah, school buses, yeah. So,
I don't
85
like-
school buses I had to stop behind coming here. They put the stop sign out. Everybody's got to stop. Why can't there be a centrally located person where these lazy-ass kids go to the bench and wait for the bus?
Like a carpooling for like a
Instead,
pickup.
mommy's sitting there at the end, and she's got to talk to the
Yeah.
bus driver, and
Oh,
they
how
got to
did
give the
that-
kids hugs. Get the fuck off the bus and move the bus.
I agree with that.
Why can't there be a bench
And I
where
feel
these
like-
kids got to walk a few blocks, sit at the bench on a side road, and the bus picks them up?
I feel like they want to put that
Yeah.
stop sign out like as soon as possible too.
well, in my block here, and we're kind of an enclosed community.
Mayberry.
As far as the bus goes here on my block, when they pick them up in the morning, all the kids have to meet in the one section
Yes!
of the neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you're not on a main road.
Yeah.
You got a little side street.
Yeah.
Your main road is that way.
Yeah, I
Right?
know.
This is where all the traffic is on the main road.
Yeah. It's annoying.
I remember I'm the type of person, I'm on Twitter, I just read, I don't post anything. And
Oh,
I
me too.
vented about the biker thing, and I wrote like, I didn't know what I was doing, and I wrote like hashtag whatever the hell, the biker association, and they wrote back to me. I wrote, you're not a car, get the hell out of my lane. If I hit you, you bleed. And they wrote, you should respect the rules of the road. I'm like, okay, you riding a bike and you want to be treated as a car, and then it's a red light and you just go right through it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, sorry, you don't get this.
Yeah,
They're all going to show up at his house. There's going to be
Sorry.
bicycles everywhere. In front
Sorry,
of
I'm
Jay's
so
house.
angry.
So I have my e-bike that I actually don't act like I'm a car. I still ride that, and it goes pretty fast. It goes up to 40 miles per
You
hour.
stay to the right.
Yeah, I stay to the right.
Yeah.
And
Do you wear
unless
the
I
tight clothes?
need to, no, I don't. I wear jeans. Unless I really, really need to. And then, sometimes it calls for there's no sidewalk, there's no side, and you kind of have to go with the
Yeah,
traffic.
sometimes you
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, but I'm thirsty, guys. What do we
Oh,
got?
the pain. The
Oh, the
pain of
pain.
living. Oh, the
Yes.
pain of
Oh,
living in New
wow.
Jersey.
Oh, the
And that's the name of
pain.
our beer, by the way.
Oh,
Oh.
the pain.
Oh, the pain.
Oh.
Coming from?
This is a double IPA at 8.5%, and this is coming from Hackensack Brewery in collaboration with the great Joe Beningo, who is a longtime WFAN sports radio host.
Okay.
He
I
does his
enjoy-
podcast from there
I
once a
enjoy him.
month. And
He's
I
funny.
see.
dude.
Yeah, I've seen you post photos.
yeah,
with
I was
them.
there the last time he did it a couple weeks ago, and I picked this up.
Next time you share it on, if you haven't already, and I just didn't notice it, share it on the podcast
Yeah,
page. Yeah.
definitely.
You better smell it first.
Why? It don't smell so good?
I don't know. Just
Smells good. Smells like pineapple.
I'm
Yeah,
not going to lie. I
pineapple,
didn't have
orange.
it when I was there.
Yeah.
They
We
just
never
came
had
out
this.
with their October and
Yeah.
their pumpkin, and I was drinking that and their Pilsners.
Ah,
Oh, cheers.
I see.
So let's
Cheers.
see.
Jay's like,
So-
come on, let's get to it, buddy. Let's get to it.
Let's
Come
do
on.
Let's do it.
Everyone's doing it.
That's
good.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
good.
That's perfect. It's like
All right.
It doesn't taste 8.5 though.
Let me tell you.
no, not at all. They did a good job.
I've never been a Gigundo fan of Hackensack Brewing. This definitely makes up for a lot.
It's
of
good.
it.
Yeah, I like
They've
it.
grown on me.
This is
They've
solid.
gotten better and better.
They've grown on me a lot.
Yeah, they're coming around, buddy. I this is much better than the stuff I've had from them in the
Yeah.
past. I think.
Yeah. This is so. Oh, the pain is Joe complaining about his sports teams. He's a big Jets and Mets fan, and as we all know, the Jets and Mets have
Well,
been
the
the biggest
Jets.
letdown
Well,
in both
Did
sports.
something
and
happen?
yeah, a couple episodes we talked about Rodgers and the whole
Yeah.
Achilles torn Achilles incident.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the turf though that time or everything? That's a
I
big.
don't know. A lot of people are blaming the turf for all these
Yeah,
injuries.
now they're talking about converting all that turf, and it's an expensive. Now, who pays for that? Does the NFL pay for that, or is it each team
I would think
individually
it's
have to pay?
the owner of the stadium would have to pay.
Yeah, I guess they would, right? And then,
because I'm sure they pick between grass and turf.
Yeah.
And turf is easier to maintain because you don't have to do anything.
have you ever played on turf before? Like I played soccer on turf back in the day.
Well, we play soccer on turf. We play softball on turf.
yeah, like
I
but
kind of like it.
I like it as well.
it's interesting. The
You
ball
get true bounces. It
Yeah, the-
skips a little bit, but like
the
I play
ball
softball on
bounces
it.
differently, but the burns, turf
Oh,
burns,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sucks.
You don't
man.
slide.
Well, I don't slide.
Nah.
Yeah, well, you can't help it unless you just
My
fall
ass
down.
doesn't hit the floor.
Sometimes when you're playing sports, you fall down. And,
If my ass hits the floor, it's because my knee just got bent in 25 places.
oh, dude, I have scars on my legs from when I was a kid playing on turf. You
Yeah.
know, just how bad it burns.
Yeah, it has
I mean,
definitely
as a
not.
coach, when I see that, whether it's soccer, softball, like if we're going to an opponent's field, that's the first thing I want to know is it dirt or is it turf? Because
Yeah.
I'm looking for turf.
It needs specific cleats for turf
Yeah.
and dirt too, as well.
And I always played it was like these little like pebbles. It's like
Oh,
almost
they're-
like a rubber pebble.
Yeah, they're
But-
all over.
But I think I don't know if I was watching an NFL game or something. Like now it was like made of like I don't know. It was like seeds or something like weird. Like
I don't know.
like
So
yeah,
my
a food
softball
type
field,
product.
that's something I do after the weekend. You know, I put those rubber things out and rake them. And I think they're old tires. I think they.
Do you really?
I think they're old tires.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Great
I got a
beer,
big
I think
though.
they
garbage.
recycle it.
Garbage can of it.
But speaking about Oh The Pain, did you see that Browns game?
Talk about pain.
Oh
Man.
my God.
I can't watch. it.
Poor
Nick
guy.
His leg was like, it was like a right angle.
He was standing this way and his leg was bent this way.
Yeah. What do you think the word? I think Theismann to me. I couldn't watch that. Like when
Alex
that
Smith?
happened. Yeah.
Same. Right. I think it was like the same day, the same stadium against the same team. It was like crazy.
Oh,
But that one was pretty.
When a bone comes through the leg,
Yeah.
not pleasant. Yeah, these injuries. Was that turf though? I wonder if that was. I don't know if that was turf. If they,
probably Theismann. I don't think so. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
a long
Yeah.
time ago.
No, well, I'm talking about Chubb.
Oh, Chubb. Don't know.
Yeah.
But it was pretty gruesome.
was
And
a-
it was the second time it's happened to him. Same knee, same leg.
Ugh.
First time was like think was bent forward, and this time was bent sideways. Like,
So it's just broken then, right? I mean, it's
at what time though? And we've talked about this in the past. Like, at what time do you hang it up because you have the money? Like, when you're like, you know what, I want to walk again for the rest of my life. Like, I'm done playing football.
Well, do you like the new rules? Like, I've been watching the games and I'm like, you can't even hit the quarterback.
No,
you can't
I
tackle him.
I hate the
Like,
way it is now.
no, that's horrible. Like,
It's just too much.
I think
The
I think you
penalties are
sign up
ridiculous.
as a QB, as whatever position you're playing, you sign up for that.
Yeah.
You're saying I'm getting paid millions and millions of dollars with the chance that I may have
Yeah,
permanent.
there shouldn't be
injury.
dirty hits, but like hits to the head, but like the one where they drive him in, like he's just tackling him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't like
Even
that
the
part
roughing
of
the
it.
passer calls have been nuts lately.
Yeah.
And just watching the Jets game, I think they've had quite a few over the first few weeks. But they don't even look like
Yeah.
come on, what are you supposed to do? If
I
you're
know.
running full speed at somebody, how are you
It's
supposed
called
to just
it's called
stop?
it's
Big
called
dudes.
inertia.
Yeah.
An object
You got
in
a
motion tends to
big
stay in
dude
motion.
going
Right.
You're not
quick.
going to just say oh and
Right.
stop. You can't.
There's
Yeah,
no
you
force
can't.
field.
It's not happening.
I get protecting their heads and all that, but this is
Yeah.
getting.
It's too much. Pass
much.
interference calls too.
What's next? They're going to put
it's-
flags on their waists and
Yeah,
they have to
I know.
take the
Well,
flag?
I know.
don't wrap them in bubble.
I mean, think about it. Most people watch it for those hits, and that's what makes it entertaining. It's like the gladiators in the Coliseum. You just kind of want to watch some action. You want to watch some
I didn't
hard hits, and
I didn't get to see those.
well,
But there's been a lot of like negative
missed out.
Before my
stuff,
time.
negative injuries. Didn't something happen at a tailgate? I don't know the whole story. Didn't a fan get injured or died or?
Well, that was at
Oh.
a game. It was in the stands.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was at
I
the
thought it was
Miami.
at the tailgate.
It was at the Patriots game in Foxborough.
Oh, what
and
happened?
And a Miami fan, I guess they got into a fight. Miami fan clocked the Patriots fan,
Hit his head.
knocked him out, and he died from that.
I don't know if he died from that necessarily. They said it was they didn't see it looked like it was something else going on. or
Right, but
something.
it whatever that hit
It triggered it.
triggered
Probably
whatever.
had like bleeding on the brain, right? He fell back, probably concrete steps.
And
I think he was just laying in,
Isn't
the,
it-
in the seat.
Crazy that we were just talking about this recently on one of our episodes about fans and how
Crazy
they
fans.
take
We were talking about Philly, yeah.
they take things a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And they do things, you don't realize it.
Same thing happened at a Dodgers game a few years ago. Guy who was a fan of the other team was walking back to his car, and they beat the shit out of him with pipes and bats and
Philly fans.
no, I don't. It was definitely West Coast. It was at a Dodgers game. I don't remember who the guy was rooting for, but it's awful.
Over what?
Awful.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Just over a game. Come on, people.
Here you are paying hundreds of dollars to go to a game.
It reminds me of John loves this movie with Jimmy Fallon. What's it called? The baseball one.
Oh, and he's a Boston Red Sox fan.
Yeah, he's a Boston
Drew
Red.
Barrymore. No,
Yeah.
was it Drew Barrymore?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Drew
Drew
Barrymore.
yeah.
What was that?
Fast pitch or
Fever pitch.
fever pitch.
So and everyone was so upset because like Jeter and what's his name from the Red Sox, Damon. But that's when Damon was on the Red Sox, and they went out to eat dinner or something after the game.
No,
or
it wasn't
something.
Jeter.
Who
It was
was
just
it?
the Red Sox guys. They lost a big game, but they went out to eat, and they're just like eating, and they're laughing, and they're having a conversation.
Oh, I thought they were actually with the some of the players.
So he's like, "Why are they here? Like, why aren't they upset? Like, we're upset. And
Yeah.
these guys are here having a good time, eating steak."
And it just goes to show, and this is so true. This is how people feel. Like, dude, they're just getting paid to do a job. They're not as extreme as some of these fans are. They're just like, okay, cool, millions of
because
dollars.
we live our lives through them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's our excitement.
it's representing, representing your city or town or whatever.
I think that one time when we went to dinner in Morristown, I ran into the NFL,
yeah.
the Giants, and
When I
Jets
sat by
player.
myself for a while. Yeah.
But I think the
with
guy
you, but yeah.
wanted to hang out and have a beer with me and Tom was because like we didn't really give a shit. Like people were like, "Oh, I was at your charity and you're wonderful and blah blah blah," and we were just like, "Yeah, dude."
Who was it? Jason Tyree.
He left though. We didn't have a beer with him. I forget who the Jets
David
guy
Tyree.
was. David Tyree. And yeah, but I think they were like, "Oh, this guy like he doesn't care. He's not like starstruck that I don't."
Yeah.
There's certain things like you have your crush on Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
If I met Shaquille O'Neal, I might be a little bit. He would destroy me, by the way,
I mean, when people see me out and like, they're afraid to
get-
come up to me and say something.
because of the podcast.
I welcome it. I'm like, come to me and say
Has
hello.
anybody said anything?
Come to
you
me and
guys?
say hello.
Has anyone noticed you
all the
from-
time. All the
Oh,
time.
are you kidding me? Dude, we can't go to bars.
Oh, yeah, I can't
it's
go
tough.
anymore.
It's tough.
Do you sign autographs?
Oh yeah, I give out stickers, autographs. Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if someone sees
Didn't
me,
it-
Pictures.
depends. But sometimes I got to tell people though. All right, back off. I'm with my family,
Yeah. See, I welcome
trying
it.
to eat dinner.
I welcome it. I welcome
Yeah,
it.
it depends.
Didn't it happen the one beer girl, right? Didn't she say like remember you guys from a podcast or something? I forget her name.
Maybe.
Melissa.
Which one?
Oh yeah, the one I met with Dom, right at the
Yeah.
Ghost Talk. Yeah.
So there's one.
I mean, there's so
There's
many.
one.
There's just so
That was
many.
the last one she watched.
It's hard to remember everyone,
Yeah. My hand cramps signing so much.
What, you have another beer? How many beers? Do we always do 2 beers? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Oh shit! I gotta watch more episodes.
Did you just get like a dementia thing? What's going on?
Just,
Jay, are you in there?
it came out of nowhere. You have another beer? Meanwhile, he still has beer in this class.
Can I just walk off like?
He did just knock on the door and say, "Hey guys, you podcasting today?"
I showed up and they were here just talking.
Yes, there is another beer. We will
Well,
get to
are
it.
you
I
trying
was
to
get-
move us?
I was gonna chug it.
He's like
to be
he's trying to
honest.
like rush us.
He's
now
trying
or
to move
something.
us, too.
Yeah.
He's like, "I can do this better than you."
Yeah. Watch this transition. You have another beer?
I almost spit my beer out.
But yeah, we are famous. It happens. It happens. And
If, anybody in Kentucky, when you see us down there, please say
yes,
hello.
Say hello. Hi.
Freddie
Hi, guys.
from Buffalo, we will talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure.
oh, by the way, when John had mentioned the one week. He's like, Ken, good moves on your fantasy football. I ended up losing that fantasy football game.
I can't believe you lost that game.
I lost that.
Well, that dude, he put up 170 something points.
Yeah. The guy I played against just had. I
An
had
insane week.
I had a great week.
He played
had
Black Rob,
he had
right?
he had a much better week.
Who's not black?
Black Rob the gangster. No, he's
not
Spanish.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy that I lost that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
This week I'm looking all right so far.
I just keep winning, so I don't know.
What are we up to?
Yeah, you're 2-0.
Yep.
And I'm
Oh,
one.
you are?
Yep.
And
I just keep winning.
I'm 1-1.
Yep.
Do you guys do the suicide pools at all?
I do. Yeah.
Are you still in it?
I am.
So you didn't pick like the Jets or the Giants?
No.
Okay.
No.
So John's the one who actually got me into it. We used to do those weekly point pools. Or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
And I started from there. And
I do that at work, too.
Wait, you don't do the one? There's like one that's like $1 million. Did you ever hear
No.
the story? And then like the guy literally, if you win, brings like a suitcase of cash and like it's
No.
like
Well, I was in one where there must have been 200 people in it, and it was like $50 a person. And
it's a nice prize.
Yeah, and 1 year I lasted, almost to the end, and I got knocked out. Like there must have been like 10 of us.
I gotta try one of those pools one of these days. Man.
We should do it together. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I don't know shit,
let
but
us know.
I'll put up the money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know what you do know?
Yeah, but I'd probably be
There's
better.
another beer right
Yeah.
there.
yeah, I know.
Are you ready for another
And
beer?
how did I
Look,
fall behind?
look.
What do we got here, John?
You
This
segued
is
a
also
little
from
bit better.
Hackensack Beer. So this is our first Oktober beer of the season. This is a Marzen beer.
Marzen.
This one's called Mr. October. Do we know who Mr. October is?
I do know who that is now. Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson.
Mr. Jackson.
I thought it was Jeter, but he's
Mr. November.
Mr. September.
What was Reggie Jackson's number?
I don't know. All I know is he tried to kill the queen.
He did try to kill the queen. And Frank Drebin
Forgot about that.
saved him.
I will kill queen.
That was great.
Reggie Jackson, for those who don't know, is a retired Yankee, Hall of Fame football player. No, I'm sorry. Hall of Fame baseball player.
He was a little.
What's his Deion Sanders here?
he was a little bit of a
He was a hothead
like he took out some catchers and
when the game was good back in the day.
yeah.
pretty tough guy, I guess you could say.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of baseball, what's his deal with Deion Sanders recently, man? He's like all over the freaking,
Well, he's the head coach of football, college football.
and he's doing it all right.
Colorado
I'm assuming.
Buffaloes.
Yeah.
But he's
So cocky.
he's cocky.
So cocky.
And he's got a good team. Both his
Yeah.
sons. His son's the star quarterback, and his other son is the star defense.
Okay.
And they're tearing shit up, but people don't like it because it's him.
Yeah.
You know
He's so
they
full
played-
of himself.
They played.
yeah.
So he's Colorado. They played Colorado State,
Yeah.
and the head coach before the game even started was like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, because Prime, right? He's
Yeah.
Coach Prime. He's not Coach Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
He wears his shades, his sunglasses,
Yeah.
to everything. And the other coach said something like, "Oh, my parents taught me to respect people and take your glasses off when you're talking to somebody."
Yeah.
And he took it hard, and then the whole team was wearing sunglasses.
Ah.
So he's making a spectacle, right? But they're winning. They're
Yeah.
winning.
They're winning till they're not winning. So we'll see.
Write it down. He's going to be the next Dallas Cowboys coach
Yeah, you think?
in
I
the
thought you
next
were
year
going
or
to say
two.
president.
Maybe.
So Deion but he was quite the athlete, and he apparently was a really good basketball player too back in the day. But he just did the whole baseball and football thing.
Can I
so-
drink my beer yet?
No.
No.
So this is a Marzen beer, right? An Oktoberfest beer, Mr. October from
Mr.
Hackensack. This is coming in at 5.44%.
So not to put
Peace,
you on this,
love,
Four.
and beer.
not to put you on the spot, but I know you like Marzens. Like
I
what?
do.
What makes a Marzen? Like the malt?
Marzipan?
Like what does that mean? It's the malts.
Yeah. It's
You-
the Marzen malt.
You don't know,
It's the Marzen.
is it?
Yeah, it's unfiltered. And then
How do you know?
They
Well,
clip,
they
clip
take
the tips.
marzipan and they chop it up. Let's just drink the freaking beer.
Sounds good to me.
Cheers, asshole.
Cheers.
Now I got to look into that for next episode.
Good.
That is good.
That's good. See,
It
I like
tastes
that. I like
like-
that style. Marzen.
Marzipan.
It does.
What's marzipan?
Cheese.
Oh, I don't think I ever had that.
I think it's
I only eat Kraft singles.
just got recalled.
Really?
Yeah.
Kraft singles just got
Wisteria?
recalled.
Because there was like a layer of plastic or something after you took the
Really?
plastic off.
Kids are people are choking on it.
But come on, people. Don't we know this? Like, American cheese has been garbage since
Who thought
you can't melt it. It doesn't melt.
No. Well, you can melt it only when it's like heated.
But you could put it in a pan and it just sits there.
Yeah.
Who
it's
thought we'd be
interesting.
talking
takes a
about
little
cheese right now?
I love cheese.
Yeah.
We should do a charcuterie board one day.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Charcuterie?
You want to do a charcuterie board one day?
Coochie
Sure.
coochie?
Serious.
Where do we get it from? Make
Everybody bring a
10
couple. Everybody bring a couple different cheeses.
Oh, this could
And
be
we'll
a
make it a charcuterie board.
gabagool and
This could be a
No
disaster.
gabagool.
Yeah.
Just a coochie.
Some queso.
Yeah.
I like what they're
Not a
doing with
bad
cheeses
idea.
nowadays, though. They're putting all that funky stuff. Like, I had a cheese with, like, mushrooms in it, and I've had cheeses with, like, buffalo,
Really?
like, style, you know, like,
You
actually,
talking about like mozzarella?
all different. No, actually, I'm talking about wing style, buffalo wing style. Like, the
buffalo
sauce.
mozzarella. That's good
Oh,
stuff.
but buffalo mozzarella
Yeah,
is
like
good, too,
smoke.
as well, yeah.
No, because I know a couple places that stuff their mozzarella
Oh,
with stuff. Like you can get eggplant parmesan inside the fresh mozzarella bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
interesting.
You know Vinny's Mutz over in Lyndhurst?
Dude,
Yeah.
I just saw this, man. Yeah.
I
that's-
know.
You want me to bring it?
Yeah.
You know him, right? Like I know him.
You want me to bring just the cheese, or you want like a sandwich?
Oh, I want a sandwich.
All right.
I want
He
the
has
whole 9
big-
yards.
he has
The
big
Lyndhurst.
sandwiches.
The Lyndhurst is the chicken cutlet with prosciutto, fresh mozzarella,
Vinny
roasted
Moots.
peppers, and balsamic.
That
butter.
was at that old hot dog place there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
On Valley?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Check
I
that
think
out.
he used to
All
be
right.
Muscle Maker Grill too.
No,
Right?
that was
Oh, that's
over.
down a little bit.
It was Bubba's hot dogs.
Bubba's
right?
hot
yeah,
dogs.
That's it.
And then it
Bubba's.
was Chris's Pizza, and now it's Vinny's Mutz.
Good stuff. Good sandwich.
He had a small store over on Ridge Road across street from Lyndhurst Pastry, and he was blowing up. And now he's got this full-blown restaurant. And
Nice.
he's got
Ooh,
people singing in there.
I haven't had an Italian ice from Lyndhurst Pastry in a long time.
I was there not too long ago.
love it.
Yeah, I was there not too long
Good
ago.
stuff.
I like their chocolate.
I did a coconut one last time.
Yeah, no, I don't touch
Yeah,
coconut.
yeah.
That's for the people who.
Mango.
Now we're gonna have to do shout outs to all
Look at
these
this mango.
Lyndhurst, my crew.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where
My old
Jay's
stomping
old
ground.
stomping ground.
So next time I'm going to bring a Vinny's Mutz sandwich.
Vinny's
The Lyndhurst. We're going to do the
I think
Lyndhurst.
one might be enough for all three of us.
Yeah.
They're big.
Are they big?
Yeah.
I like when they do that big chunk of mozzarella like that. Thing.
Oh, yeah.
A chicken cutlet thin and a slice
I
of
It's
agree.
even better. You put
I
on nice,
hate-
like, a semolina bread.
Oh.
seeded
And balsamic.
Seeded?
Sure.
Seeded.
Sure.
I don't like thick chicken.
No, I don't
It's like a
chicken.
Like thick
like
chicks?
Pound that.
Oh, chicken.
We went to we were at a party recently and somebody had chicken cutlets and they were really thick. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
mine thin.
It's gross.
Yeah,
And mayo. I don't know how you do that.
I love mayo.
Thick chicken color with mayo.
Not thick chicken cutlet, no, thin chicken cutlet with mayo.
All right.
Yeah. So, John told me recently, he's like, Ken, because he knew how much of a fan I was of that show, Neat.
Neat. We all watch it.
We watched it.
We
and
hope you watch it.
John had said to me, he was on Tubi.
Tubi.
And so Tubi, I just recently discovered what Tubi was because I was pissed off because Neat wasn't available on Hulu anymore. And John goes to me, he's
Oh,
like,
really? I didn't know.
No, it's
It's
not.
on Tubi now.
And it's on. John's like, oh, you can watch it on Tubi. I was like, Tubi, what's that? Like YouTubi?
Sounds like a kid toy or something
Yeah, I know.
Tubi.
from Japan.
Or like a phallus of some sort. But he's like, oh, check it out on there. So I had to watch it again because I just had to make sure it was still available, like the whole thing. But he's like, oh, check out what was the name of it? Straight Up.
Straight up now, tell me. Straight up the story of bourbon, or
Kentucky
straight up
bourbon.
Kentucky
Kentucky
bourbon.
bourbon.
Yeah.
Straight Up Kentucky Bourbon. It was. It looks like it was made around the same time as Neat, actually.
2018.
2018. And it was interesting. What did you guys think about it? Because Jay just watched it too.
It was similar to Neat, but it was more fact oriented.
Historical.
Yeah.
More
fact.
history involved.
The-
I liked Neat, and not to talk about Neat because we're going to talk about this show too much, but I liked how Neat took it and broke it apart.
Neat was emotional.
They talked,
Yeah, they made it
It was
more
emotional,
about-
but they also said they took some guy who owned a little speakeasy bar like this. I should have been on Neat. And they took a guy, and they were talking about they went to bars, and the guy was making a Jello shot with Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a different take on. And then they had what's his name? This
Van Helsing.
no, the Steven
Van Zant.
Van Zandt on there too. So they had a celebrity on there. Is that who it is?
No.
Stephen Hawking.
Steven Zahn.
Zahn.
Steve
That's
Zahn,
it.
yeah.
Zahn. I can't remember
The
his
actor,
name.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's on like Saving Silverman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what was like your favorite? Like you told me something, and I didn't believe it, and then when I watched it, I was like, "There's some facts that really stood out." Like which
Well,
one that stood out?
I
for
learned
you?
a little bit more watching this documentary than I did watching
Yeah,
Neat, right?
yeah.
So I didn't know where the word
A lot of
where
information.
bourbon came from.
Bourbon. That was my favorite part.
Bourbon really came from
Floating the barrels down the river.
well, no. Bourbon,
Bourbon
well,
Street.
Let's see where John
Bourbon
is.
Street.
Yeah.
So they really started making bourbon because they wanted to do what the French did with their brandy by
Yes, that's
distilling their brandy in bourbon barrels that were charred,
Burns.
burnt.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to do the same thing with their whiskey.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they're doing it on Bourbon Street. People keep saying, hey, I want that bourbon whiskey that I was getting on Bourbon Street.
So
and then all of a sudden, they're like, well, now it's
Yeah.
bourbon.
So one thing that I actually happened to watch that documentary a long time ago, and then Ken was like, told me about it, so I rewatched it the other night, and I thought it was good watching it for a second time. But the thing that was funny, I felt like an idiot when I went to Buffalo Trace, and you're like walking around, and I was close to like the person giving the tour, and like, you know, when you're walking from warehouse to warehouse,
Right.
you can kind of ask them a quick question or two, and then I asked like a question, and they were like, "Oh, that's a very good question." And then I asked another question. I go, "So is there like a river like close by where you float the barrels
you were
down?"
leading the witness.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
float the barrels down to like
Yeah.
they used to float down to New Orleans, which I found fascinating. She was
Yeah.
like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Is there like a river like or
So
something?" Like
they didn't know?
I think at Buffalo Trace, it's probably nowhere near. Well, Buffalo Trace is nowhere near the like whiskey
river,
row,
right.
So I don't think it's near the river. So they looked at me like I was an idiot.
It's
I
how it
was
all
like-
started, man.
But I guess not at Buffalo Trace. That just at all the other thing, which is fascinating that they would float it down. So that thing, my buddy goes.
Well, that was part of it, the jostling of it, and it's shaking and it's moving and everything.
You
That's
probably
why,
know. Did you see Jefferson? What is it called?
So that's
They
why
make
with
a
Jefferson's
sea-
they have the ocean one.
Ocean.
And the whole thing is, and
sloshes,
It
it gets-
sloshes. It gets, it's shaking
It's
around.
interesting.
You have all that charred wood in there. It's adding. It's like making a cocktail inside a barrel because of all that movement. But it's just bourbon whiskey in there. But
I think that was definitely a huge factor. The bourbon was probably good.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about how it wasn't that good in the beginning, like where they were putting like shoe shine, like
Well, they were cheating. They were trying to sell their
and that's
whiskey
when the
tobacco
bottled
spit,
and bond kind of
to make it look dark. But
Yeah.
dude, that one guy, like the Bond guy that was on that show, he's wearing his bonded shirt and
Yeah.
he's like all
He's
into the
hardcore.
bonded. He's really hardcore
Yeah.
about bonded stuff.
But I also think it's cool
he
that
had the tattoo on his arm, bonded or something.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
how though all the distillers are like friends. Though it's not like it's
Yeah, that when they
they're
had
not
that-
in competition.
Oh,
with
there
each
was
other.
a fire, and they were like they all got
Yeah,
together
what do you need?
and
I'll give
helped
it to you.
them and
Here,
made
brew.
bourbon for them.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Because it's almost like you do good, I do good. This is the Bourbon Trail.
Yeah.
People aren't going to fly out here just for maybe
Buffalo
Elijah
Trace.
Heaven Hell or Buffalo Trace.
They wanna hit
wanna
everything.
They're in it
hit
together.
everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
it's all
us.
part of the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Ken, you told me about. I'll let you elaborate on it. He said something about a tax with the barrels, and I was like, I never knew that.
That was crazy too.
Yeah, it's
We
crazy.
talked about that. We texted each other.
So we had mentioned about, say you get an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 23-year-old bourbon, and we always said that it costs so much money. One of the reasons why it costs so much money is because a lot of that bourbon ends up angel share. So you might start out with a barrel that is totally full, and then by the time it's 20 years old, it evaporated. So you're only, instead of getting whatever, say you're getting 400 bottles out of it, you might be getting 250 out of it. So it obviously is going to mark that value up on whatever's in there. But something interesting as well, though, that we saw on this show is that they mentioned that every year that you have bourbon in a barrel, they're taxed on it. So you can have a bourbon that's 4
Yeah,
years, it's 4 years tax.
Elijah Craig, 18 years, taxed 18 times.
Yes.
I never knew that.
So, well, the money's got to come from somewhere, people. So it's not going to, they're going to go bankrupt if it's coming out of their pockets every time. So they got to put a little bit of a higher price tag as well on top of these
On the retail
higher
price,
aged bourbons. And, we've said it before too. Sometimes these higher aged things, they're not always as good as the price tag. So, it's up to you if you want to spend that kind of money on someone. We all have. I'm not opposed to it. Sometimes you find some really good ones, but some of them are a little too oaky,
A couple weeks ago when we had the when I brought the Old Fitzpatrick or Old Fitzgerald rather.
Old Fitzpatrick.
Old Fitzgerald.
It's a St. Patty's Day here.
I was
you
just
all right? Are you all right today?
I was just watching the NFL thing, and Fitzpatrick from the Jets was on as the commentator of the Giants game last night.
He is looking a
That's
little
why-
old right now.
That's why it was on my mind. But like even that, like I had it here. Remember, I had it home. I'm like, I don't like it. Then I had it here. It was
It
good.
was really
Yeah.
good.
I had it last night watching the Giants lose,
And you didn't like it?
and I didn't like it.
It's
again.
the environment.
I
You're
think it's
drinking
you
it by
guys.
yourself.
It's always better.
Nah.
With
You're not sharing it with
It's
friends.
always
You-
better with friends.
Yeah.
It's always better with friends.
You know what I watching though? What makes me not regret because we didn't go yet.
Yeah.
But we have nothing to do with like Wild Turkey. I want to meet Jimmy Russell, man.
I know he hangs out at the.
He's
gift
always
shop.
there.
Yeah, I know.
I follow the Facebook
I know,
pages now.
I know.
He's got his pants up to
I
his
know.
tits,
If we can-
and he's always just hanging out.
If we can work it out,
Where's that closer to? What day? If we had to fit that in,
I
what
think
day?
it's near. I might be.
Is that at Louisville? Or
I think that
more
might be
at
day
Frankfurt?
one closest to like arrival.
like on the way.
Yeah, I think I got to double check, but I feel like it is. Yeah,
Man, how cool would it be to just sit there with that guy?
I know.
For me,
I don't know if I'm going to look at that thing that growth he has on his face the whole time, though. Probably.
That's not nice.
John's-
How do you like my bourbon?
That reminds me of Uncle Buck when he
That
was
pimple's
with the
great. I mean, the
teacher.
bourbon's great.
Uncle Buck with the principal.
I can't help but look at it.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Russell. Nice to meet you.
What are you looking at? Nothing.
Nothing.
I've growth a lot since I've.
if you guys meet Freddie, I'm gonna be very upset. I mean, happy for you, but I'm like, wish I'd be there.
We can still
was-
go.
so wait.
Even if we don't get a tour the second day, we can still go and stop in.
Yeah, we can always still go.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, but Buffalo Trace is opening up a pop-up shop in London
Really? Interesting.
where they're selling Buffalo Trace stuff.
Really.
So Freddie and somebody else has kind of been going over there. I believe it's,
So we may
it's
not see
opening up
Freddie.
a fall of 2023.
Yeah.
Which so I hope he's not going to be in London when we're going.
That's
I hope he's going to be
true.
around.
That's true.
I was there on a
But-
Sunday, I think, because Chick-fil-A was closed. So that's the only reason I know.
That's the reference.
And yeah, because when you're by Buffalo Trace, there's really nothing to eat at all. Like there's nothing out there.
But real quick on that whole bourbon story. Now, when you watch Neat, though, you see what's his name? What did I say his name was? The actor
Steven Zahn.
Stephen Zahn, and he was talking about how did bourbon begin. He didn't mention. I don't think he mentioned that. He mentioned, and I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if I actually took him seriously. He's like, or it could have been Elijah Craig, and he was able to get some barrels, and they were fish barrels, and to get that smell of fish out, he charred the barrels, and I always wondered, is
It's
that
not
the
really
story?
right.
Yeah, which story is correct? Was it just him messing around? Because he named like 3 possible stories.
Yeah.
Or was it this? Or was it that?
I also didn't know about the Prohibition thing, that you were like, Ken has a lot of bourbon here, so if Prohibition ever happened, you can drink it. It
We're
wasn't
okay to come
illegal
here.
to drink
We're
it.
okay.
That
to
was
come here.
very interesting.
That was very
So
interesting.
basically, in the film, not I want to call it a movie, but they had mentioned that during Prohibition, it was illegal for like a Buffalo Trace or any of these distilleries to sell bourbon to anyone. But if you had a surplus at your bar, did you fart or something? What happened? You burped. Oh, but if you had, you idiot.
I tried to keep it in and say,
But if you have a surplus of that bourbon at your bar, you can keep selling it, which was interesting.
I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And then it would have like those, if they had bottles, the shelves would drop out. And I went
it's
to
like Harlem Nights. Remember Harlem Nights?
but if you had a
That
drink
Eddie
in
Murphy
your
movie?
hand, this is not illegal. But distributing, selling was.
Remember
Yes.
Harlem Nights, the Eddie Murphy movie?
Kind
I
That
didn't
was like
watch it.
Prohibition.
It
Was
wasn't.
it?
You didn't.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, Richard
I didn't
Pryor?
watch it. I didn't watch it.
You
I know it, but I didn't watch it.
All right.
Yeah. So that was. But, I mean, who's to say that they didn't just? Oh, Prohibition's gonna happen. Give me
Is that
whatever
crazy?
you have.
Just Prohibition itself. That's freaking
Speaking-
nuts.
So by me
That's
here,
so crazy.
and they said it was interesting. They said New York City. They said they were a little bit more lax with it. I think apparently, they were kind of like like I guess maybe if the governor or whomever was the leader of that area was like kind of like into alcohol and into that, they were like kind of like
yeah.
don't worry, we'll let this slide.
Well, it's always all about, right? Everybody's poor back then. It's all about
Yes.
It
the,
was all federal, and the cops would
Yeah.
like not enforce it.
And that's the whole thing. Anything that can be, and it hurt them in the long run because taxes. Think about it. We just talked about these distilleries getting taxed and how often they got taxed even back then on everything. Whiskey. It was actually called a whiskey tax.
Yep.
And how much they got taxed and that's
how much
money-
whiskey tax funds everything.
Exactly.
Every time there's a war, it's
Yeah.
we were funding it through the whiskey tax.
And I feel
Yeah.
like that's actually used like when they talk about at the schools and stuff and all the money raised and stuff, as opposed to like in New Jersey where we live, or our lottery goes to education. Like,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Now our whiskey tax go towards housing immigrants.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
They must be drinking a lot of whiskey in New York right now because they need it.
Hell yeah.
I could use some whiskey.
But yeah, no, let's. If you haven't seen this documentary, it's called Straight Up Kentucky Bourbon. It's on Tubi. Tubi
very
is a
good.
free app.
It's free.
It's like
It's going to ask
If
you
it's
for
free,
like
it's
not like
16
Hulu, it's not
logins,
like it's-
and you could just continue as guest and not sign up for anything.
It's free. There may be a commercial here or there for a couple seconds, but it's really cool. So check out Straight Up.
Yeah,
check
check
out
out.
Neat, and you'll learn all your bourbon facts.
And some more bourbon facts, people.
Let's
Today
go.
we have.
I'm excited for this.
This is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. We've done barrel proof on this show before, but there's something different going on
This is the
here.
new. Everyone's going crazy over this.
Yes. So this is a new one. And why? The reason why is this, guys. Elijah Craig, not until 2 batches ago, it was always a 12-year. The proofs changed, but the year was always 12-year. Pissed a lot of people off when they said that we're not going to do.
Not me, but
When they said they weren't going to do a 12-year anymore, people automatically assumed it was going to be less than 12 years. It could be 11 years. It could be 10 years. Like, no, I want my 12 years. That's what I'm paying for. So the first batch that came out was so basically, just to give you guys a quick rundown, 3 batches a year. If you see the code on the bottom, you might see an A1, 2, 3. That would mean the first A being first batch, 1 being January, 23 being the year. You might see a B523, which would be B, second batch of the year, 5 May 23. This one here in particular is the C923. So, anywho.
Wow.
so
So you're talking
me,
like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so me and Ken are on like a bunch of groups and stuff, and people's
Get finished.
people start.
No, go ahead.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
you're gonna miss it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
All right.
No.
screw.
Finish.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. I'm fucking with you, bro.
So people say like the first batch is okay, and they say the B, which is like the second of the third, is terrible. They said. Like,
Yes, they
horrible.
did. They did say that.
And then the C, like, this one is supposed to be like, I don't know, the granddaddy, like.
But
good
that
shit.
was basically just bottled
I'm
in
just trying
the
to
month
make
of
you
September.
learn, and
In the month of
I have
September.
to interject.
Yes.
once in a while.
So yeah, for September, exactly.
Wow.
So in this case, this is a C923, but B523. That was the one that was. So Jay brought it up. He said it wasn't. People weren't happy about it, and that one was not a 12-year. It was like 11-year or something. I forgot exactly what
cheated.
it was. So they didn't do. So basically, what everyone's fear was happened.
Oh, okay.
They said it's going to be less than 12 years. It's going to be shitty. And it wasn't a favorable batch. Now,
Have either of you tried it, or this is
This
word
is-
of the on the
I
street?
have
word on the
not-
street.
Word
Word
on
on
the
the
street.
street.
I
'cause haven't
tried the
it yet.
C3PO. That was pretty good.
Yes. So this one was a C923. Difference between this one now here. This one was aged for 13 years, 7 months.
Wow.
So they went above and beyond for this batch.
Okay.
So and
They whipped it out.
yeah. So instead of they're like, all right, well, we're going to show you that we can do even. We're going to make this work for you because it's not a 12-year. You're right. This is a 13-year, 7 months, coming in at 133 proof.
Holy shankies!
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you
It's
handle
gonna
it?
put us on our
This
ass.
is a high proof one, man. I actually almost wanted to breathe
so
a little.
you've tried it. Obviously, there's a little bit
I
missing.
did try it. And the
I have
reason I
not.
did it, I opened it yesterday. And the reason why I opened it yesterday was because I wanted it to kind of breathe a little. I didn't want to get a neck pour on this one. I kind of really wanted to get your guys,
So did
opinion on it.
You poured the neck pour and you threw it out.
No. There's no
Look-
bourbon goes to
looks like-
whiskey.
Give it to the dogs?
There's
Looks
no
like
drain
he
pours
drank
here.
Give
like
it to the
two or,
dogs?
2 or 3 there.
I'm a heavy pourer.
That's
but
why
yeah.
he was texting me himself, like sitting on the couch in a robe last night.
So this one has been
Was it open a little bit?
So this one has been getting a lot of hype. Retail $70 to $90 or so on this, and secondary for quite some time it was going over 200 on secondary market. Now it's kind of balanced out to about 150
And you bought that on the shelf?
on the shelf. I found it, and I got a couple
In the wild.
And I got a couple because I don't know if you're ever going to see.
So
they've
is
been
that
talking
something
about-
I could look for if I'm at ShopRite Liquors or if I'm at somewhere?
Yes.
You might be able to find it.
You might be able to find it. But
What
look
am I
for
looking for?
C923.
Okay.
And or you could even if it make
Or-
it easier, look for a 13-year age statement. 13 years a popular year. You look at Russell's 13. You look at Baker's 13. It's one that's desirable. People are like, oh, it's 13 years. That's when you start saying, oh, that's an age. That now we're getting into some age right here.
So John, I'm not
Even
a,
a 10-year, though, I would say is getting into age.
I'm not a huge fan of Elijah Craig. I do like the 18-year, and I think I might like this one, so I'm interested to try it because me and Ken, every Christmas, we try a thing, and we had an Elijah Craig 12-year. It's called like a pirate bottle.
Yeah.
I think he has.
Yeah, I have the 12-year, yeah.
And I really liked it, but most Elijah Craigs I don't love, so I'm interested to see if I like this one.
I'm going to tell you right now. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you after we have it because I don't want to give you any kind of opinion on this yet until you have it first.
Okay.
So this is a barrel strength, it's called, right?
Barrel proof.
Barrel proof.
Yeah, this is a barrel proof, and like I said, it's coming at 133 proof. So 66.5% alcohol. This is not a
Not cut with water.
Yeah. This is straight from that barrel, the way it is right here. Johnny,
Oh, you went hard with that.
It
hard.
looks darker, right? And that's probably the age.
Smells good.
Yeah.
Darker the berry.
But be honest with it, though. Tell me what you guys
Sweeter
think.
the juice.
Tell me about the nose. Tell me about everything. Tell me
It smells good. It doesn't smell like it's 130 proof.
I'm getting a little vapor.
133 proof, but yes. All the clanks and banks.
You tried it?
So let me tell you, when I first cracked it yesterday, I got a little bit more ethanol on that. This one I'm not getting as much, which is a good thing.
Ethanol, yeah. No,
It definitely cleared my sinuses.
It's there, but I definitely got more yesterday right when I cracked that one.
You ready? Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Wait, do we supposed to cheers?
cheers.
Yeah, whatever. Cheers.
Feel the burn,
A little bit.
but on the back end,
Right.
nice.
It's in
Sweet.
the throat.
Nice.
It's not in the mouth.
it's right in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. A little cinnamon, a little bit of that
It's pretty good.
caramel, toffee. It's nice. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I like it better today than I did yesterday. Yesterday, I wasn't 100% sure with it. I don't know if it's because it was a neck pour or what. Today, I'm feeling it more.
There's heat, but
There's
it's good.
heat.
But it's good.
It's a nice heat.
Nice heat.
I could sit out in the snow in the wintertime.
I was gonna say if I
Yeah.
was shoveling, this is what I would. This is what I would.
I got
want.
like big red gum in my mouth.
yeah. That's good. Yeah, I
Right?
get that too.
I'm going to pull a Johnny right now. I'm going to take a sip of a little water, actually, on this one, just to proof it down a little and see what kind of flavors I get on this.
Wuss.
You don't
Yeah.
have water?
It's all the way over there. Thanks. My throat is burning. I got esophageal cancer now.
I'm going to...
Nah, I'm kidding. No, I like it. It's good. I get that big red. That's a
Right?
good reference.
Because it's
Good
in
job.
the mouth.
I'm getting something else with the water, man.
Really?
I don't know what it is.
You?
Dirty dish rag.
Dirty dish rag.
I think the big red reference is accurate.
But here's the thing with it. And this bourbon
feel
coats
warm.
your mouth.
Yes.
It lingers.
Yes.
I can feel
Yes.
it. Like
But
it just
don't
saying,
you feel it
It's on the
here
roof of your
too?
mouth.
Bro, it
it's
hangs
on your
out.
tongue.
It
Do you
hangs
not
out.
feel it here too? I'm like
Oh,
warm.
yeah. I
Yeah.
feel it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
Tailgating.
is a fall whiskey, a fall
Yeah,
bourbon. This
you-
is a bourbon you want to drink when it's cold outside.
I
You
know.
go to a Jets game, you're sitting outside.
It'll warm you up.
freezing.
It'll warm you
It's
up.
nice.
You get a little flask.
For $90, I don't know if I'd bring it to a Jets game,
Yeah, now everyone will drink it.
Keep it
but
to
this
yourself.
is nice. This nice. Sit on your deck, sit by
It's
a
good.
fire.
It's got good flavor. I love that linger. I think that's the best thing I like about it. I could still taste the notes on my mouth right now
Do you-
after having it.
Do you like that better than the Elijah 18?
An 18-year?
Remember the
It's a
18
different
one?
animal, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a totally different animal to me.
This is definitely more heat.
Yes.
But
It's
you're
got that
right when you
proof.
say this stays in your mouth.
Oh,
'cause
it
it's still in there.
lingers.
You know what
It
it is?
lingers.
There's a lot of heat, but you're not like.
No, I did
It's
not.
not
cough.
harsh. It's not harsh.
Right.
I kind of getting a little sad in that we don't get the burn factor anymore with your ratings. There is a burn
I'm all
factor.
grown up now. The burn factor would be pretty high,
It's high.
but I can handle it.
Yeah, so it's like a
Better than I
smooth burn.
There's nothing worse than the feeling of having heartburn. You ever have that heat that settles right there?
Yes, sir. It stops before it gets there.
Yeah. And that's the thing with
I like
bourbon. You get that heat, but there's not that uncomfortableness at all.
It stops before it gets here and like
Yeah.
it sits. It comes down,
Right.
and then it's just like
Yeah, you actually embrace it.
yes, I agree.
You're like, I want that
I like
burn.
this.
That's good.
It's nice. It's nice.
And honestly, I would not want to put an ice cube in it because I would not want to take away from that.
That's smart.
I'm
Right?
going to tell you, John. Though I wouldn't judge you if you did.
Oh, thank you.
See, I'm like you. I'm the opposite. When I'm drinking something that has higher alcohol, I want to drink the high alcohol.
Yeah.
But if I do a Blanton's, which is like, what is it, 92, 94 proof maybe? Like 90 proof?
Bland is 90, I think, right?
90. I put an ice cube in, and they're like, why would you put an ice cube in and make it,
Right.
But I don't know. I just, when it's lighter, I want it cold. And this, I want it warm, but to be cold outside.
The only reason I said I wouldn't judge on this one if you put an ice cube in it, because I think a little bit of that melting of that cube will bring out tons of other flavors.
Did
That's
you
what I was
get
gonna
it?
say. Yeah, it would take the flavor
Yeah,
out.
no ice
If I
cubes.
had my
right now.
water, I would know.
You want some of my water?
How do I do it?
Just fucking.
All right. You guys keep talking.
But yeah, this one's there's so much hype behind it because people keep saying the word on the street is it bourbon of the year? Is it bourbon of the year? Because of what they did with this one.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, you have these Maker's Mark cellar age being released that are selling for $500 a bottle. That are because it's been aged for whatever amount of years, and then you're buying this for $70 a bottle at some stores. And you're getting almost a 14-year on this, and it's Elijah Craig.
You're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
Right. My opinion with the water, you taste like the wood, the oak more. You taste the flavor more, but
Yeah.
I like it without the water.
I like it without the water.
Yeah, it's better.
And something like this, I would definitely put an ice cube in. But this, I do not want to do that. I'm embrace. It's almost like I've been to numerous ALCS games, right? Like championship baseball, and it's freezing, or a football game.
This would
and you
settle in.
smuggle that like blackberry brandy and
this
keep your
is-
insides
Would you
warm.
put this in a flask? Just hang out?
I would.
Yeah, I would feel
So
bad,
let-
right? If I'm paying a lot of money and it's in a flask,
Well,
I
let me-
feel
let
bad
me-
for doing that. But yes, because it would warm me up.
Yeah.
Me and my neighbors have done a tradition now where we all carry a flask and we go trick or treating with the kids. That's what I want in my flask. I usually do a rye.
I usually have a red Solo cup of beer.
So Jay, coming from someone that you say you've never been a huge Elijah
like
Craig. This is one that you put in your books here. Huh, that
I'm
you
gonna
like.
look for it. Yes, I do like it.
Yeah, it's-
very good.
I'll
spend $90 for that.
Jay and I were talking the other day on the phone. I said, be on the lookout for C923. It's
I
it's going to
didn't
go
know.
quick. It's going to go quick. It's one that people are looking for right now.
Would you be able to buy this in like a ShopRite, or you think it has
Yeah.
to be like those
No.
little mom and pop?
You can
liquor
find a
stores?
shop, right?
You can find it. I found
Now's the
this
time.
at a bigger shop, actually, a bigger store.
More like a Gary's or a Bottle King.
Well, the one I got was
Yeah,
it
you
was
find it.
privately owned, but it was a big store like Gary's. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So can get it.
You know how we all talk to each other. Actually, a guy that lives in Pennsylvania now, while I was driving here, texted me and goes, Bombergers and Shanks, which is another type of bourbon, is in West Orange at Total Wine. And I'm like, shit, I just drove by it. I'm on my way to like Chester. And I was like, I would like to have picked
What
up
are you
a
gonna do?
bottle. But
You know what? My neighbor, Dan, you met Dan.
Mm-hmm.
He texted me yesterday. He's like, got Blanton's for $89 at Gary's or whatever. And I was like,
yeah, is it worth
I was
the
like,
ride?
I have a few Blanton's already. I'm kind of like, you know what? Now I'm at that point. There's so much better bourbon out there. There's so much better bourbon out there where I'm not going to be like, I need to go there right now and get it.
You guys agree, though, sometimes it's the mood. It's like if you're by a fireplace up in the Catskills, I want to drink that.
Yeah.
But if you're mowing your lawn.
if we're getting cozy,
Yeah.
you know, and we're menage a trois,
One-
you know. We got,
One thing I want to go back to the Straight Up Kentucky Bourbon documentary is
No, you're
one
not
of the
allowed
guy
to.
one of the guys said, and he goes, the bourbon doesn't have to be expensive to be good. Sometimes the cheaper bourbons are just as good, if not better, than the expensive
A
ones.
$30 one, yeah.
Go back to Fighting Cock, $15, little man.
I didn't get to try it. I wasn't here.
It was.
I've drank it a couple more times,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
It opened up.
it's
a
not
little?
that bad.
Yeah.
I think we
Well,
all.
it's like the Heaven Hill I gave you.
I think
I'm still sitting on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
I
all
wanna share it with
have like
somebody.
a cheap bourbon that's like a go-to that you would admit. Like, I always like Jim Beam. I still have a gigantic Jim Beam
not the Jim
from when
Beam
I was
guy. I have
younger,
one.
like college years.
Yeah.
I always like that flavor.
That's what I'll make my old fashioned with.
So I have. Everyone has like a cheap goat. Like what
Well-
would yours be?
Look behind you. Smoke Wagon, the younger one.
Small batch.
Younger?
Yeah, the younger.
Uncut,
Dude,
yeah, of
uncut
course
like
that's
Jay. Yeah.
it's a 4-year. It's got high.
Ugh.
It's a higher proof for and it's fantastic.
But I was
think it's
looking at
good.
like the bourbon on Maine and the
In
you sent-
Kentucky, yeah.
You sent me another link to another place.
Yeah.
Fighting Cock was on there, and
Yeah.
it was
Really?
just the same price
Okay,
as almost
okay,
all the
okay,
rest of
okay.
them.
Early time.
Okay, let me tell you right now, John. just like any kind of bourbon, there's small batches of different kinds. Fighting Cock, they have a $500 bottle. You know, they have different. There's different.
okay.
There's different degrees of Fighting Cock.
You just like because it has that word.
Yeah.
That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
exactly.
I like the Johnny Drinks bottle the best, but you know.
It was pretty good.
No,
right?
but
Johnny Drinks is good.
When people say like, I get the 18 years, you got to pay for it, this and that, but
Yeah.
it's really like what you like.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yes.
I'm a novice still, so
You've come a long way, Grasshopper.
Yeah.
A long way.
And actually, if I saw that, I would buy it. My wife wouldn't like that.
John,
I wouldn't tell her
you-
how much it
No,
was.
you
John,
tell
in
how
the
much it
past
is.
on here, you would take a sip and go,
Right? Yeah, 100%.
and now you're like,
100%.
I get a little bit of big red
I
chewing
I
gum.
still go back to the time me and you went to Cowan's. We got old fashions. It wasn't even neat. We got old fashions.
Is that when
John,
you found the wall?
No,
We were sitting
that's a
outside.
different-
We were sitting outside.
We were sitting outside.
I couldn't even finish it.
John's like, "This is disgusting."
I
And
couldn't
What
even
was
finish
it?
it.
It was an old fashioned.
Well, what was in it? Bullet or
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember. It was a while ago. It was before we started this podcast.
We had a beer share in my backyard that you brought to Ralph's Pizza, and you were there like
Doesn't
before we
travel
were.
well.
You were there before we were.
really?
Yeah.
and it was
Sorry.
so he was.
I couldn't drink it.
He couldn't. Now he's like, dude, he's drinking. We had the Obtainium, whatever that was, 70 whatever percent alcohol or whatever it was, 60 something percent.
That's delicious.
Now when I
like
wake
it,
up
yeah.
in the morning, I'm like, I want a bourbon.
I know.
I just want to start.
And
You
my
wake
day with
up.
it. Yeah, I want to start.
Wow.
my day with it.
It's because of bourbon why I don't drink beer nearly as much as I used to, unfortunately. Or fortunately, who knows? Because beer makes me bloated and gassy and farty.
Oh,
And
thanks.
I know you're not a fan, but now that it's the fall, I'm looking forward to some like maple flavored bourbons. I like those.
I have them, and we can repeat. We can revisit some. Actually, I got one recently. I think it was a Nulu. That is a maple that I've been waiting for this.
Do you still have the one that
this
I
year. Yeah,
the one I got you? Was it Knob or remember I got you?
you got me a
one?
Hudson, I think.
Hudson.
Yeah.
You still have it? Or?
Yeah,
We should do like
Right there?
like smaller pours, like a little of each one, and compare it.
compared to maples, the Decadence
Next one.
from Widow Jane. That's
Yeah,
another one.
we should
No,
do
actually,
that.
the Hudson one's a really good one. We had the white maple one from Jersey Distilling or whatever.
But
that
you
place
agree,
is.
I
right?
bought the
Like-
I bought the maple from the one next to Ghost Hawk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
But
I
you
finished
ag-
it. So I'm
you
looking
agree,
forward
like
to a new
that's
batch.
something you would drink in the fall.
We
like-
can maybe
yeah,
do
yeah.
a battle of the maple bourbons.
That'd be
I
pretty
don't
cool.
know.
Oh, dude, we should do a battle of the bourbons, man.
Battle of the bourbons.
I still want to do the blind test.
The blind
and
test
see
where I
how
pour them
dumb we are.
and see if you two guys can figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout outs today.
Shout outs, guys. Yeah, what do we got?
We're going shout out Hackensack Brewing for Mr. Oktoberfest. Shout out Reggie
Vinny
Jackson.
Mutz.
And Oh The Pain. Shout out
Oh,
to
The
Joe
Pain.
Beningo. Shout out Vinny Mutz, right?
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to bring those sandwiches on. We'll have some
Yeah.
roast beef and some mutts from
I
Vinny.
am excited.
Shout out to we already said it. Watch Straight Up, the Kentucky Bourbon documentary
Straight
on
Up
Tubi.
Bourbon.
Tubi is free. You don't have to pay for it.
Nope.
Awesome documentary.
Definitely.
Shout out to
Elijah Craig.
Mr. Craig.
Barrel proof. People, look for C923. You find it, buy it. It's good. It's solid. I'm
agree.
going to say,
Don't buy the B.
Initially,
If
when
it
I
starts with a B, don't buy it.
when I initially had it, I was because of the hype. I was kind of like disappointed, but now it grew
good
on me a
stuff,
little
good
bit more
stuff.
now that neck pours out. Man, I think it's a different animal now. It's pretty good. Pretty
Thanks
good
for
stuff.
showing up today.
Jay,
Thank you.
No more traffic, please.
I'm going home.
Going home.
Going
I'm going
home.
home. Going home.
Cheers, guys. As always, cheers to you.
Cheers.